obviously everyone knows what happened last night. If you guys were watching the Vanguard yesterday around this time, or you will remember me have been making a pretty bold prediction that Senator Nina Turner of Ohio would win the congressional seat against Shontel Brown in Ohio 11th special election, which happened last night. Unfortunately, I was wrong. It turned out I was too optimistic, too naive. And once again, the progressive left has been dealt quite a blow by the establishment wing of the party. Indeed, the Hillary Clinton wing, the Joe Biden wing. But Nina Turner was different. She had much higher name recognition, much more of a national presence, and a pretty big lead going into this race too. So we're going to be unpacking exactly what happened in today's stream, and also monitoring and commenting on some of the reactions, some of the wild reactions from across the left, which were going down last night and continue to go on today, as everyone is, playing the blame game, pointing fingers, all that stuff. I want to go into a little bit this little Twitter spat that happened. Emma Vigeland, she tweets this out last night. This dumb fuck shit. The People's Party must be thrilled that Nina Turner lost. What a victory to see that McCarthyite imperialist go down. One step closer to Medicare for all. So, of course, last night, everyone is reeling from this loss. People on both sides of the fractured left are very upset about this. Here comes Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report to throw this stink bomb into the midst. Again, the People's Party must be thrilled that Nina Turner lost. This is idiotic for a number of reasons. And Zach and I, if you guys have been watching the Vanguard for a while, you will know that we've actually been quite critical of MPP, Nick Briahna in specific, the leadership at the People's Party. Even as a third-party advocate and voter, I think they have a lot of work to do as far as getting to the place where they need to be to actually be taken seriously, let alone competitive in an election. That being said, you cannot say that the People's Party was thrilled that Nina Turner lost. Nina Turner was actually the keynote speaker at the People's Convention, which happened almost about exactly a year ago today. She was actually a supporter of the People's Party and remains an ally. Cornel West, also, who spoke for Nina Turner in the days leading up to her election in Ohio, is also a supporter of the People's Party. He also gave a keynote address at the People's Convention. So this is really needlessly ugly right here from Emma Vigeland, just pointing fingers at what she, assumes is the reason for Nina Turner's loss, which of course is the Jimmy Dore left, the dumb left, whatever you want to call it. Immediately, as soon as she hears the news that Nina Turner lost, she can't, self-reflect like we just did, think about potential reasons why. Of course, it goes immediately back to this Twitter online culture war shit. And I think that Briahna Joy Gray, speaking of Briahna Joy Gray, actually gave a great rebuttal here. She says, Cornel West supports the People's Party and Senator Turner. This is the ugliness. This ugliness is the opposite of what the left should be doing on a night like this. Real people organized and worked hard for Senator Nina Turner. This Twitter sniping undermines the solidarity this movement could bring. And I think that's just, again, very, very accurate. There's no reason to, get down in the muck and make this a culture war thing again when people online who weren't even voting in that district. Yeah, sure. There was conversations going on about legitimate reasons why people were cynical about the strategy of electing more progressives to Congress. And they were cynical about, if Nina Turner would join the establishment when she got there instead of resisting it. These are legitimate concerns for disaffected voters, desperate people in this country that are sick of seeing electoralism fail over and over again. These are legitimate concerns that people can talk about. There's nothing wrong with having a debate or a discussion about the effects of electoral politics. And even though some people go too far in their vitriol against the squad, the vast majority of people are actually quite reasonable, including the People's Party folks. We've talked to a lot of organizers and volunteers with the People's Party. These aren't crazy lunatics. These are, working class people that are very serious about activism. And again, we've had lots of criticisms of the leadership at MPP, but to say that they're all just a bunch of Twitter trolls that were like rooting for Shontel Brown to win, it's insanity, and it's needlessly divisive on a night that, should have been something where the left kind of come together and figure out what to do going forward together.
100%. And it's always so fucking callous coming, and it's so hollow and ridiculous coming from fucking we need to fucking unify us, and all these fucking dumb leftists just want to divide us. They're not real leftists. It's like, okay, taking pot shots at people with literally no power. Like, come on, guys. Like we're the level of reporters that are reporting on the People's Party, guys. They have no fucking institutional power. Like, it's not like anybody at a big hotshot newspaper is paying any kind of fucking attention to those people because they don't have to at this point. They haven't ever grown. It's not like DSA or something like that. They haven't reached that that level. So just to take a shot at the People's Party, I think it's a weird and also just completely unsubstantive. I mean, it would be justified if they'd been tweeting like, fuck yeah, Nina Turner lost, haha, I told you so, but that is not the approach that anybody took. So that's just completely absurd. But the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's so much on either side. Like, people need to understand how little power the online left has. Whether you're a part of the online left, whether you're not a part of the online left, it's so important to remember that at this stage, we have absolutely no fucking power at all. Okay? Any power that we have is because people listen, and you can utilize it to do something like March for Medicare for All, but right now that's where we're at. Right? We cannot throw an election in the 11th district in fucking Ohio by bitching on Twitter. Okay? I don't have that kind of power. If I did, that would fucking be interesting. I don't know how I would wield it, but I would feel uncomfortable. Maybe I'd stop doing the show. I don't know. But we certainly don't. So I don't think about that now. And not even somebody like Jimmy Dore does. Like Cenk Uygur couldn't even get himself elected to fucking Congress, guys. He had one at the time, the biggest progressive show, millions and millions of subscribers. So it's so fucking ridiculous that people think this is at all possible, that he couldn't even win a Democratic primary in California, where they have probably the highest concentration of listeners. So the level of power that we all have is so small, guys. And obviously Gavin and I being the lowest on the totem pole as far as left commentation goes, we have the least power. So I think we need to understand that and say, okay, how do we change so that we can start acquiring some sort of ground game, some sort of power, some sort of broad appeal, because right now we don't have it.
And again, just to go back to this tweet one more time, it's not like Jimmy Dore or the fucking People's Party had anything to do with Nina Turner's loss. Like Briahna Joy Gray pointed out here, it was essentially the Shaker Heights affluent white community that turned out for Shontel Brown and put her over the top. These people aren't listening to Jimmy Dore. You think the fucking affluent white elitists that live in Shaker Heights spend their time listening to shit like Jimmy Dore or the Vanguard? Are you fucking kidding me? No, these people want to protect the status quo, protect their tax rate, etc. It doesn't have anything to do with that. And again, I think we had a tweet up on screen earlier that said, like, essentially, if you're blaming powerless people for this outcome, when it was literally the ones in power, the Democratic establishment that is responsible for this result, then that's just a joke. You shouldn't be taken seriously. No one in this space, no one on Twitter, no single leftist or even any group of disaffected leftists really had anything to do with this. And I just think that that's a very important point to make. To follow that up, that Twitter beef, I want to, go to this one too real quick. Here's some Cenk versus Jimmy drama going down. But this is really what sowed the seeds for the sentiment, which we saw Emma Vigeland express, in addition to a couple other lefties on Twitter with high profiles. So Cenk said, of course they turn on Nina Turner. Of course, because they want to destroy the progressive movement. She's our best hope, and their job is to promote nihilism, destroy hope, get progressives to turn on one another. And why? Because she wouldn't support their dumb grift monsters. So let's take a look at this clip that he's referencing, because this is actually a clip of Jimmy Dore's wife and sometimes co-host Steph Zamorano talking about the race. And let's see if you think what she said warranted that level of intense criticism from Mr. Uygur.
Turner is against force the vote. She gave a bad faith answer on Bad Faith Podcast. That's when I stopped my monthly donation, Jerry Mack. You know how I feel, Jerry. I'm right there with you. I'm not giving my money to somebody who's running in the Democratic Party. I'm not giving my money to somebody who runs in the Republican Party. I'm not giving them my money. Come get my vote. Come get my vote. And you know how you're going to get support? Universal health care. For my brothers and sisters in America, universal health care.
So obviously it's fair to point out that Nina Turner does support universal health care. That being said, it's also fair to point out, like I said, that you have every right to analyze the situation and say, hey, this strategy isn't exactly working at the expediency which we need it to be. Maybe there are better uses of our time and money. Again, do I think that people should have totally stayed out of the Nina Turner race? No, I think that people that participated did a great thing. I think that there is nothing wrong with participating in that election, donating, volunteering, etc. That being said, there's literally nothing wrong with what Steph said there. I think it's totally fair to say that, I don't want to donate to Democrats or Republicans because we've seen what happens. And I think that's validated by the fact that regardless of how many donations Nina Turner got from grassroots progressives and viewers of TYT, etc., it didn't end up fucking mattering. It literally didn't move the needle at all because of all that corporate dark money that was dumped into the race, because of the high turnout of the Shaker Heights affluent white community. It doesn't matter. So, ironically here, Cenk is saying that Jimmy and his wife have turned on Nina Turner and that they're promoting nihilism, destroying hope. To be honest, man, what actually might promote nihilism and destroy hope more is constantly getting everyone's hopes up over and over and over again over these progressive congressional candidates saying, oh, this is the time it's going to happen. She's our last hope. She's our best hope. All we got to do is donate some more and get Nina Turner into Congress, get everyone's hope up, get everyone all hyped up. And then guess what? For the fucking umpteenth time, it's a loss. It didn't happen. That's what destroys nihilism or promotes nihilism and destroys hope, to be completely honest. I think considering other alternatives for expending your time, money, energy, I think that's not nihilistic at all. I think that's actually productive.
Yeah, I don't understand at all how this is, and actually it's not any different than a bunch of shit that I've said on our podcast like a million fucking times. I'm like, if you're in Nina's district, of course I think that there's a lot of benefit for going out and doing that, but I'm not gonna fucking stand here and be like, oh, fucking donate your money across, spend your last bucks on a Women of Prayer that Nina Turner's gonna go and finally we're gonna get Medicare for all, because that's fucking delusional, and I don't like to lie to people about political strategy. But Cenk just brings the ultimate used car salesman energy to whatever the fuck he does, and that's exactly what he's doing here. His job is to promote his fucking YouTube channel through whatever means necessary, and that's by finger wagging and barking and doing whatever, and by doing exactly what you said, pretending that every single person, just like they do with the Democratic Party, it's always, this is the most important election of your life, donate to this fucking shit, do this shit. It's never, let's reflect on anything meaningful, right? Let's just blame this one woman that's voicing her very reasonable fucking opinion about voting for Democrats. That's so not worth criticizing in this moment. It's so irrelevant. Steph does not have the power to sway an election, and you're fucking ridiculous for thinking so. Like, how you shouldn't have your fucking show if this is your genuine belief. But I know it's not your genuine belief because he's fucking addicted to maintaining this fucking beef with Jimmy Dore, because it's his only means of staying relevant. So he has to fucking bark and finger wag and like get all high and mighty and stand on top of his shit mountain and basically look down on all of these people who are actually trying to be introspective and say, hey, I don't think this is working, and look, Gavin and I you can call us fence sitters, but we call ourselves inside and outside guys. If there's a good fucking candidate, I do support them. I am sad that Nina Turner lost. Last night I was really fucking bummed about it. I was up late. I was pacing. I was like, what the fuck is the left going to do, guys? We are in a fucking shithole right now. I think that's clear. Gavin and I are interested in getting out of that shithole, shoveling our way out of the shit, Dr. Jacoby style. But it's so, I don't know, it's defeating. And this chick just kind of pisses me off. And as you said, Gavin, there are people that have been, friendly to our show who I think have fallen on the wrong side of this. These people don't have the power. These are frustrated, and maybe not in the case of Steph. Okay, fine. She's not maybe hurting, but a lot of people who are online, are hurting financially, and obviously frustration, transcends, class. You can be equally outraged about that. I think all of those recent, like David Dole was tweeting, like complaining about the size of Jimmy Dore's house because one time Jimmy trolled him on Twitter. That shit is so pathetic. That's so disgusting. Like, the real fucking problem is that it costs $1.5 million to buy a fucking house in Los Angeles. But anyway, that's a side point. What I'm saying is that this isn't fucking, I don't even think Joe Rogan could fucking meaningfully sway an election in Ohio. I mean, maybe he could. He probably could. You have to be like a whale to have that big of an audience in that kind of a district. So, I mean, the progressive media just isn't there yet. Can we get there? Maybe. I hope so. I'd like to be a part of it if we can. But I think that it's perfectly reasonable and downright rational to be saying, no, fuck no, I'm not donating my money for a Democrat. She didn't say she wouldn't vote for Nina Turner. She said, earn my vote. That, like, oh, now we owe people our money because they're running for Congress, Cenk? Like, no, that's never been the way it is. You have to earn people's votes. And if they really fucking like you and they really believe in you, they'll donate to you. But guess what, man? You're going to have, this is another thing that I've been thinking about a lot. It's going to be a super fucking tough sell to get, feet on porches and knuckles on doors come 2022, because people are fucking think it's rigged, and it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back to the substance of this tweet again, I just think it's crazy. People, this election is, and again, I'm not trying to say this from a place of nihilism or despair. But if anything, this election is maybe a reason why, a justification for people not wanting to donate. Nina Turner outraised Chantel Brown in grassroots donations ×2. She got twice as many donations from people like you and me, and it didn't fucking matter because our election system is so goddamn rigged. The odds are so stacked against people like Nina Turner because of our campaign finance system that it almost makes it useless to donate your money at some point. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have, and if you did, then I mean, it was a good thing to contribute, a good cause to contribute to. Definitely better than giving your money to the local McDonald's or whatever for a Big Mac. Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I certainly sympathize with people that are working class, that don't have an excess of money to begin with. And I'm not going to keep throwing away fucking money. I'm not going to keep throwing away money into these races where ultimately it's going to be decided by big money anyway, where in the last 2 weeks of the election, the Democratic Majority for Israel PAC can come in and dump literal fucking a million times more than I would ever be able to donate into this race, then why the fuck would I even give my money in the first place? So again, while I'm definitely not trying to promote nihilism, I think what really does promote nihilism is when people give their fucking money over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, invest all their time, invest all their hope into these candidates, only to time and time again be crushed, to be in despair. I don't blame people for turning around and saying, what would be a way for me to more effectively use my time, energy, money to again affect the change that I want to see in this country. Maybe it'll be more fulfilling to me to go and make connections in my local mutual aid community and to really foster solidarity in my local area. That way you can actually see the immediate effects on the ground. You can see people's lives changing as a result of the work you're doing and the time you're spending and the money you're giving. That's understandably a lot more fulfilling and a lot more, effective for a lot of people than throwing money at these congressional races where, again, at the end of the day, it's going to be decided by some last minute infusion dump of fucking corporate cash. Yeah, I don't blame people for being discouraged when that happens over and over and over again. And they're told every time by Cenk Uygur that, oh, this next one's going to be, the great white shark. This one's going to be real. This is our last hope, etc. Well, if you're going to say this is our last best hope and then she loses, don't be surprised when people get nihilistic.